gameday, cornfield there. Rock a bandana like Tupac, I been there. Rock a do-rag or wave cab, I lay my shit.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to 101, and today it's Arsenal versus Crystal Palace. Let's talk about the team sheet. It's quite an interesting one. I think for me, guys, there's a lot not to like with this team sheet, but then there's also some good changes as well, or good change, if you like. So let's talk about really where the problem is with the team. The left back and the right back situation has not worked all season. You've missed Yuri and Timber, and Tomiyasu is out on duty, so you're just struggling with these two guys. The good thing is Elise, he's not around. Zaha left Palace, so you've really only got Eze to worry about, as well as Edouard. The centre-back should take care of Edouard, but then there's just Eze to be concerned about. But overall, guys, Zinchenko, Gabriel, Saliba, and Ben White is your back four. Obviously, Raya in goal. But Zinchenko just not been at the races at left back. And normally you'd look at him in a control role in the inverted left, but he's not really influencing the game in terms of the attack or supporting Martinelli. On the flip side of that, Martinelli was not supporting Zinchenko at the back, left him isolated, especially against the goal against Salah, where Salah scored and Zinchenko was basically left hung out on an island by himself. That's not what normally happens when Arsenal are playing well. If you look back at the Man City game at Emirates, when you looked at Martinelli's his pattern, his runs, his cover, he was doing way more. Now you look at what happens when Zinchenko's been attacked and Martinelli's nowhere to be seen. So that needs to be talked about, which hasn't been expressed really, as well as the lack of influence going forward. So we'll come on to that in a second. So the midfield is Odegaard, Havertz, and Declan Rice. And in all honesty, we need a better performance from every single one of those guys. Odegaard has been pretty much at the top of his game. And as I said on previous podcasts, look at the numbers. Odegaard is providing the secondary assists and the build-up play. He's doing that. So whether the goals are going in or not his problem. He's hit the woodwork 3 times as well in the last month. So he's got to get his shooting boots on and prove to this team that a captain can lead by example. But he is playing well, so let's not, he might be overplaying the game a little bit, which is some may be guilty of doing because of the stress factor of us not scoring goals. But the captain is doing his job. Declan Rice, his form has dipped over the last few games. But for Havertz, the question is in this game whether you're going to play him as a pivot 8 or whether you're going to play him as an advanced 8. When he plays as a pivot 8 in double to Declan Rice, defensively he's a monster. But when Havertz is called into an advanced role, when he played there 4 times before the break, he scored 3 goals. So he can be adapted at both, but personally I'd love to see him in the advanced 8 because he's a goal threat in that position. So I'd like to see him scoring more goals, even though he's a defensive boss and brilliant confidence and get the fans off his back as if he scores more goals. It didn't work out for him with the 9, but for the number 8, he can be the guy. The big thing about the upfront changes is Saka's in there, Jesus is now back, but it's Martinelli. Finally, after 18-19 games and just 2 goals, the boss has decided to drop Martinelli, and it should have happened a long time ago. The flip side of that is he's dropped him for Trossard. Now, Trossard is a really good player, guys. He's a fantastic facilitator of the ball, very intelligent, great movement, can spot a pass. He's got the whole package. But he cannot get past the guy because he doesn't have the acceleration, the speed, the dribble. He just doesn't have it. So I don't know what you're going to do in this regard. If you can push Zinchenko up to fly left in that role, and that means that Trossard can come more centrally, then it works. If you can work that to a degree where the support level, the overlays and everything there, you can work some triangles in the same way you do on the right hand side with Saka. If you can do that and get Trossard going, then you'll get a game out of him. The other thing about Trossard is when he tends to start, he doesn't play well. He's more of an impact player coming off the bench. So there's a lot of caveats going out here for the performance that we're going to see with Trossard today. And I'm hoping that the system will allow him to thrive. And also, what I'm expecting from Trossard is to get back and support Zinchenko defensively as well, which Martinelli wasn't doing. So again, there's a crazy stat out there, guys, that Arsenal haven't lost the game when Jesus has scored. Now, that's a great stat, but Jesus has to score. The problem is Jesus doesn't score. And I just want him to get off and flying because, guys, if Jesus is not working in this team is not working. And for him, he has to be a number 9, not a number 8 or anything else, and drop back into the midfield and play in the build-up and all of that. We know he can do that, but we have players back there who can do that as well. So as a striker, your job is to stay at the anchor point and get on the end of things, because too many times he's dropped back and then balls come into the box and nobody's there to get on the end of it. If you're a striker, do your job. Yeah, I love the work rate, love the pressing, love all of that. But this is the reason why I prefer Nketiah up front as a number 9, because he plays as more as an out-and-out striker. Jesus drops back way too much, and then when you're attacking, your team is hurt by that because you just don't have anybody getting on the end of things, because he's too busy in the midfield trying to do whatever they're doing, and it just doesn't work. So let's see if Arteta and the guys have figured this out, and we'll get back to you at half-time. Peace out, guys. Talk to you soon. Hey guys, what's going on? It's Arsenal 2, Crystal Palace 0, and the first half has gone exactly as I thought it would go. I mean, right now you've got to think to yourself that Arsenal, before this game, were number 1 in the league in set pieces. And what do they do today? They come out and they score 2 goals from set pieces. So it pretty much defines exactly what Arsenal are all about in regards to Gabriel. And Gabriel is someone who's used to scoring quite a few goals every season. And this season he's got off to quite a slow start. 2 goals from him today. It doesn't really tell about his performance at the back. His performance at the back has been immense. He's definitely been the pick out of the defenders, especially the centre backs. So obviously he's having a fantastic game. But I want to talk about what's actually happened in terms of the mindset of today. The transition is normally where Arsenal's struggling. The build-up play has been very slow this season. And in the first 20-25 minutes, that's what the biggest change was. It was the speed that Arsenal was moving the ball forward. A lot of that came from Zinchenko. Now, the corner for the first goal, that was also made by Zinchenko as well. So I think that change has been defining in today's performance. Of course, we dropped off towards the end of the first half, but at half-time, Arteta will be talking about how much that transitional speed, moving the ball forward, makes a difference to our game. And it also stops teams from getting their heels dug in at the back, which is where the frustration is, where we're just constantly passing the ball around and nothing's happening. It's all about hitting teams quick and hard and fast, and that's where we're getting the best results. Some guys that are playing well, Havertz, I thought, has done well in the midfield. Declan Rice, still, for me, not his best game, and you can still feel like he's finding his way through after the last few average performances, and you know, he's been Arsenal's best player this season by far. Odegaard looks very zippy as well. Saka not really yet into the game. Trossard, now this is the problem with me. With Trossard, when he comes off the bench, he's dynamite. But in the 4 or 5 games he started this season, he's just looked average. And look, Martinelli, 2 goals in 18, he had to be benched. But the question is was Trossard the right guy to put in there? Because he's had his chances. Reece Nelson, on the other hand, not had his chances. And today, once again, Trossard, very quiet, not very influential in the game, had a chance a minute before half-time. You thought all he's got to do is put his left foot, get it on target, instead he smashes it over the bar. And it really kind of simplifies his performance today. It just doesn't work when he's playing from the start. For me, he's more of an impact player, and so I probably would have went with Reece Nelson, or maybe even Smith Rowe. I mean, Smith Rowe must be wondering, what on earth have I got to do to get into this team? But overall, guys, the performance today has been okay. Ben White's not been the liability that you thought he would. It really comes from Crystal Palace's game point. They've come in to frustrate Arsenal, and it seems that Palace are the ones that have been frustrated. A lot of decisions haven't gone their way. They've looked to wind Arsenal up, and instead they are the guys that are getting wound up. And there's no way for them to come back from this, because the Palace are not the type of team that will come back, are designed to come back from deficits. They just aren't. They're the type of team that will stay in it until the end and hope to pick a winner near the closing stages. And unfortunately, this game has gone away from them. I predicted it was going to be 2-0, but there's definitely more goals in the second half. Really looking forward to Jesus. Jesus has been okay today, not essentially what you would call an elite performance, but there's definitely a goal in his game today, and I'm hoping he gets on the score sheet. And again, you've got to look at Havertz. Havertz has been good in the midfield. Him and Odegaard really combining for some wonderful touches, but both are breaking quickly on the ball, and that's what you want. So guys, that's it from me. I'll talk to you at full time. All right, guys, let's try and wrap this up, man, because it's cold out here and my hands are freezing holding this phone. It looks like Arteta got what he wanted, took these boys away. Nice weather, all the training and everything that they did, and it certainly gave the fans what they wanted here. Arsenal 5, Palace 0. And this is exactly what the fans wanted. It's what their manager wanted. It's what the players wanted. 16 players took part in today. And some of the wealth of the passing, I mean, for the corner on the first goal, which was from Declan Rice, was absolutely pinpoint. And then it just got better from there in the second half. Arsenal come out, and the interlink play, the pass out by David Raya was absolutely amazing. It then comes into a situation where Jesus breaks and the ball into Trossard, and Trossard hadn't been playing well. Let's be fair, he had 2 chances that he squandered, and he hadn't been playing well. And in the finish, he actually, low on confidence, he took his time, he got a touch inside, put it on his right foot, and then chose his spot, and it was Arsenal 3-0. And then more changes. As I said, 16 players came in today, more changes, and Eddie then slips a ball in between 2 defenders, finds Martinelli. Martinelli with a Henry-esque slow finish with his right foot into the corner of the net, puts Arsenal up 4-0, and then it's Martinelli breaking again. Great finishes by Martinelli. He scored 2 goals in 18 games before today. He comes on for 15 minutes and matches that total with 2 goals. It's exactly what he needed, but when you look at it in the mix of things, he should have been dropped a long time ago. The body language of some of the players, like Smith Rowe today, was perfect and showed you why that you should rotate and play your guys. They're sitting on the bench, they're hungry, they want to perform, and I thought Smith Rowe was fantastic when he came on today. There's just little things like that that tells you that you need to rotate your team. So the rotation was good today, the passing was good today, the transition was excellent, defensively we were sound, some of the fruit balls and the passing were excellent. And what you guys have to remember is, when teams are bedding themselves in and then we're playing ticky-tacky football and we can't penetrate teams, that's not what we want in terms of the situation. In today, what we saw was the midfield holding the ball, Zinchenko and Odegaard holding the ball in the midfield, baiting teams to come at them on the back line or the halfway line, and then when they come out, you can spring and attack. And that's what we did today, and that's why we were able to get those 1-on-1 or 2-on-2 matchups in the final third. So it's not what Roy Hodgson would have wanted from Palace, but because of the nature of the tactics today from Arsenal, Palace were able to get sucked in, and then we counter-punched them. And it was just complete, utter Arteta ball today, and you got to love it, guys. Great performance, great result, and we move on, yeah? Now I think that hoodoo from Christmas is over. The goals came today, came in abundance. It's 5-0 Arsenal, and now we can look forward to the next one. Nottingham Forest incoming. Speak to you guys later.
I'm tryna be a black king, yeah. I'm tryna be a black king, yeah. MLK